The humans of. Hello.
We're live.
Usually I say that. You said it this time.
We're live in Edinburgh.
We are. Day 2, post show. We're back in action. We had a good show.
Great show.
We had 15 people, 14 or 15? I forget what the audience number says. 15 yesterday. I think it said 14 today, which is fantastic for Edinburgh.
Not your leg.
But tilt. Man, I needed a win because I started the day in a really not good place. And when we got to the space, it was a really not good place.
Getting to the space.
Yeah, let's start there. So here's the challenges of Edinburgh. So this is really good for you if you're ever considering doing a solo show, doing a festival, like kind of hearing the behind the scenes. So the venue that I'm at, the space, there is no dressing room. And they do a 5-minute load-in time. So there really isn't anywhere to go as a performer, which is kind of a bummer because I like to have that separation before the show because I'm in like my character mode. Like when I'm showing up to the theater, I'm already in the world of Luna. So I don't want to be, and it's not like a rude thing. I don't want to be talking to the audience. I don't want to talk until after the show to the audience because I feel like I have a job to do. I have a story to deliver. I have a show to put on.
Yeah, I think about any performer. Think about like
you don't see a musician or an actor.
Elton John's not hanging out in the hallway before his concert.
You know, so we're like, when do we catch the bus? Oh, okay. Are we still going? Oh my God, we are still going. Well, Eric's computer died. Take 2. Now we're on the phone. People are probably like, I don't know if you could see. Anyway.
No, it just went black.
We're going to keep moving on. So
we're back.
We aren't sure what time to go most days because I don't want to get there too early because I have no place to go.
The camera's here now.
Oh, there we go. But I don't want to get there late. So we were a few minutes early for the bus, and I guess the bus was running late. So I don't know what happened.
No, I think we were like 3 minutes early, and the bus was even earlier.
Oh, okay.
The bus was like 5 minutes early.
Okay. So we missed the first bus.
Yeah.
And the second bus was late.
Yeah.
So I was freaking out because I thought, are we going to miss the bus? Am I not going to get there in time? Like, are we going to have to get off the bus and run? Are we going to have to try to get an Uber? Like catching the bus is, that's a fun fact.
A whole event.
That's a whole thing in itself. So we decided tomorrow and for the rest of the run, we're just going to go like an hour early. And we're just going to figure it out just so that we're down there and we don't have to worry about navigating the bus. So after all that and all the stress, so I'm supposed to load in at 7:10 for a 7:15 show, and we get there at like 7:05. So we still made it with 5 minutes to spare. Yeah. We walk in and they say, we're running 20 minutes behind.
Yeah.
Well, you were, what did she say to you? Because you were the...
I said, yeah, we're here to check in for Too Big for Her Britches.
Hey, ma'am.
And then they went, okay. And they said, we're running very behind tonight. And I said, okay, how long? And they said 25 minutes. And I said, that's unacceptable.
Yeah. 25 minutes. Keep in mind, this is Fringe, where there's shows from 6 to 7, and the next show starts at 7:15. There are shows from 7:15 to 8:15. The next show starts at 8:30. Like, people are purposely going to see shows or going to see things. So if you're 25, 30 minutes late, people have to make a decision whether they're going to come to your show or not, or they're going to leave early. 25 minutes. So we said, absolutely not. We need to speak to the manager. Like, this is completely unacceptable, inappropriate.
Yeah.
And the long and short of it was we spoke to him, and I was like, buddy, I didn't come in all hot. His name's Ferdy. And I'm like, Ferdy. I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm like, 25 minutes. And he's like, oh, I know. He's like, there's this company prior to you that's been running 10 minutes over.
Earlier,
and then everybody else has been running 2 to 3 minutes over. He's like, so that's pushing it.
No, so he said there's two shows. They have two shows.
Yeah.
Their first show runs 10 minutes over, and their second show runs 5 minutes over.
And then he said the rest of the shows are running 2 to 3 minutes, except us. I'm early. I'm supposed to be a 70-minute show, and I'm running like 68 minutes. Why? Because I'm a freaking professional. That's why.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to play in these kinds of scenarios when you're built and of integrity of a certain way, and then you've got to integrate in these kinds of things. So it was very interesting because we didn't get in until, I don't know, what time was it? 7:45, I think.
Yeah, 7:45.
And people were telling, so we didn't even be able to load in until 7:45. It would be 7:50, 7:55 till we started.
Yeah.
And when I was waiting, people were, because I'm with the audience, because there's no place for me to go. So people were coming up and they thought we worked at the space because we were standing by the door. And they're like, oh, I'm here for Too Big for Her Britches. And I'm like, yeah, hi, that's me. And they're like, oh, it's you. Oh, you're the performer. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, hi. I'm like, I have nowhere to go. I'm like, so I'm just going to stand here and chat with you. You know, let's have a conversation. And they were like, we're going tattoos, like the big military festival.
Yeah,
and they're like, we're going to tattoo at 9 o'clock. They're like, is your show going to be done by 9 o'clock? And I'm like, I don't know. And then another lady came up to me and said, oh my God, I'm so excited to see your show. I picked it out. I wanted to be here. It's so nice to meet you. And I said, are you going to another show after this? She's like, yeah, 9 o'clock. We didn't even get in so we get down there. We finally get in, and the company that is before us has crap all over the stage, and there's this like big gurney and this big cot. And I'm like, what I wanted to say was, Oliver earmuffs, like, motherfuckers, get the fuck off my stage. But I didn't say that. I was like, hi, can we move you to the side? Because I need to get in. Like, I only have 5 minutes. I'm nice to a point, but we have a business to run here. Like, we have things. Oh, sorry if that went on LinkedIn and I just cursed. I know it's probably unprofessional, but that's really what was going through my head. And we set, I don't even get my chair set up. And the tech lady, you give her the computer. It's a new tech person, not the same one as last night.
Yep.
And she was like, okay, she's like, 1 minute and we're ready. And I looked at Ferdy and I said, in 1 minute, we're not ready. I said, I haven't even set my chairs up yet. And I said, I need 30 seconds. Yeah, it takes us 5 minutes to set up. Hey, Leona. Yeah, Pam. Because I literally have 3 chairs as props. Like, that's it. And you just have to hook up. We have to bring our own. That's the way they do it here. We have to bring our own sound cues and our own system.
Yes, we're plugging in a computer.
They have to plug in the computer.
Yeah, and then we're just setting up 3 chairs.
And then we just have to set up 3 chairs.
So 5 minutes.
I said to Charles, who was the booking guy, I said 5 minutes is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So
I said, I don't know anyone. And he's like, that's the way we do it, and that's just how it is. And 10 minutes is 10 minutes too. When I was at Hollywood Fringe, I did a 30-minute load-in. It didn't take me 30 minutes to set up, but I wanted 30 minutes in the space to be able to warm up, get sorted. They'll charge you double if you want 30 minutes extra here. So if it's going to cost you $8,000 to do your run, if you want 30 minutes, they'll charge you $16,000. So I was like, okay, well, that's not in the budget. Like, they purposely make it harder to schedule more time because it's a business for them and they want to get shows in and they want to have maximum amount of shows. Time is money. So they tell us we only have 5 minutes. Well, I said to Eric, I said, that's an absolutely horrible idea. I said, unless you're like us, unless you are ninja, and unless you are on it, there's no way people are going to be in and out in 5-10 minutes. So you plug the computer in, and she's like, okay, we're ready. And I'm like, we're not. I think we was like 2 minutes. And I'm like, okay.
most.
I'm like, I probably have 3 more minutes, lady, so take a chill pill. I was like, I need 30 seconds to ground myself because what we did not expect to be walking in to them being 30 minutes behind and me having people that want to get to other shows yet still want to see mine. So I'm like, I need 30 seconds. So you go. And then I was like, wait, I want to check the sound levels because if you listen to our live yesterday, they screwed up our very first 2 songs yesterday. And she was like, hey, what cue is it? So all attitude. All tude. What cue is it? She hits the first one. I'm like, that's not, I'm like, it's the second cue. She hits the second one. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that one sounds good. Actually, the first 2 song cues. So she's first cue, not a song. Fine. Second one, I'm like, yep, that's fine. We go to, and then I was like, okay, I need to check the third cue. I said, because it drowned me out. And she goes, I don't have time to check all the cues with you. And I said, we are checking the cues because your team screwed it up last night.
Yeah.
And then she was like, and then she clicked it. And I was like, yep, that sounds fine. So that was what we were met with tonight. I finished before 9 o'clock. So I think I was under 70 minutes again. So during the show, and then she screwed up. Same thing.
Yep.
3 light cues. One time I had no light on me. She just didn't turn the freaking light on. So I'm like, do I walk into the center now instead of downstage right? Because you have no light on me. Then, if you've seen my show, Pam, you have, the therapist scene with Patty, they put the disco light on.
That's awesome.
So evidently I go to therapy at a disco. I mean, that could be a side.
But it was like a bright pink disco.
It was a disco light.
I was happy.
So luckily, afterwards, some of the audience stayed to chat with me, and they didn't even recognize that it like went over their head. But after the show, I said to her, "You didn't have the light on me." She goes, "Yeah, you stepped out of it." I said, "No, I didn't." I said, "You didn't have the light on me." I said, "And you put a disco light for a therapy scene." Well, that was in the script. I said, "No, it wasn't."
No.
And I said, there was no disco light on me last night, and she was following the script, so you screwed it up. Thanks so much. And then when I was like, I had to get my props off, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I stepped out of the light? I was like, so this is not, where are the lights then? I was like, what lights are you putting on? And she goes, oh, honestly, I don't know. I don't have time to talk about it. And walked past me.
We don't have time.
So tomorrow we will be crafting a very long letter to the booking agent at the space because mistakes, we're all human. We all make mistakes. But when you don't own up to your mistakes, like last night, the tech made mistakes. Yeah. And she said, I'm sorry. I got it now. That's not going to happen again.
I made notes.
And I went, cool. Tonight, Miss Attitude was having no part of it. Mm-hmm. And I will not work with someone like I can't work with someone like that. And you know that, right? We're all human. We all make mistakes. What do we teach our children? What do we teach our employees? What do we teach our business, our clients? Like everybody makes mistakes. You own up to it and you own making it better. And don't give attitude, which is what I'm basically going to say in the thing. Don't give attitude to the show that's showing up on time, gets in on time, sticks to their time, and gets out on time.
Sets up
on time, gets out on time. So the one woman actually left. It was really sad. She left at probably like 10 to 9, and she didn't even get to see the end of the show. The couple that were going to Tattoo.
No, she stayed.
They stayed.
She stayed 5 to 9.
They stayed to the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, she stayed 5 to 9 to like the last possible minute that she could.
Yeah.
And I think I ended like almost at not like maybe 2 to 9 or something, almost like a little before 9 o'clock. And then the couple that was going to Tattoo, they actually stayed. So they must have liked the show. And then a friend that I saw later said they talked to them and they said they loved the show. Like they were coming up and they had to run, but they said as they were coming up, they said, "Wow, that was such an incredible show. We absolutely loved it." So that was kind of cool to know that like this big military tattoo thing is going on, and and they decided to stay. So yeah, yesterday she owned it. Like I'm not a big jerk. Like I can work with that. But when you're coming all hot attitude with me, like I'm going to basically say, I don't want that tech person anymore. Like I'm not going to work with her. Like she's not good. She screwed up. She has massive attitude, and she didn't even care that she screwed up.
No.
And the sound levels actually were too low, which is very ironic because they were coming in lower than what we set them at.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that, again, is you're doing a shitty job. Like, you can hear what the sound levels sound like, and they can up it and lower it
Manually.
based on how it's going, and it was way too low, and
But
she
even
didn't give a
that,
shit.
no, even
Didn't
that,
give a shit.
the girl last night, the tech last night, I could see on the script, she noted, and she wrote, I saw it was like master volume.
Yeah.
And then she wrote the number.
So they're just like not paying attention and not caring. They're just like not caring. And that is not cool with me because we spent a lot of, you know, Bo always talks about that, our mentor, and he's like, you know, I work so hard. I can't have some amateur coming in and screwing it all up for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. 8 months, 2 years I've been doing this show. 8 months I've been preparing for Edinburgh. You know, I don't share a lot about the cost, but it's about $50,000-$60,000 to do this festival, which is why you see a lot of people crowdfunding. You know, I didn't choose to do that because I would like to leave my crowdfunding for Broadway or something bigger. But you know, we're like 60 grand out of pocket. I'm 8 months in this thing. To have amateurs come in and treat us like that and just treat the show with that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
No.
That's not fair.
No way. No way. And this is where I'm nice. I'm a good person, but this is where like fierce mama bear comes out, and I'm like, no way. Like, this ain't going down like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll still be kind, obviously, but I'm going, you know, you have to bring it forward and you have to say something. And so many times people don't, and we've never been afraid. Exactly. Broadway, baby. So, the show was great. My energy was great. I felt great. I didn't have any side conversations in my head. I felt super connected to the characters, to the music. The audience here, I'm convinced they don't. They're. I kept saying they're like, I think they're dead inside.
Dead inside.
Like, they clap. They don't find me funny. That 2 nights in a row, they don't laugh at anything. They don't laugh at anything. Nothing. Yeah, unacceptable. I know. It was really bad. Like, it was really bad. Yeah.
And the techs, and even that, the techs aren't included. You have to pay for them.
Yeah, I had to pay $600 for tech for them to run my show.
So it's not even that. It's not even like
hired
it's part
them.
of the.
I hired them.
They're
Yeah.
hired. They're hired. They're staff.
Yeah. Yeah. They're being paid, and
Anyway.
they're doing a crappy job. What was I saying?
The show went great. Energy levels were great.
Yeah, I had no side conversations in my head. It was the most connected I had felt. My voice was strong. I felt I had a really great show. And it is outrageous, Leo, and I know it's just ridiculous. And a friend of Jean-Louis Rodrigue came tonight, and he chatted with me after, and he said he thought it was he'd done the Fringe, like, he's a famous playwright, and he had done the Fringe like 10, I think he's done it 10 or 11 years in a row. He's written shows in it, but didn't write one this year for personal reasons, which I won't share, but he decided not to do the Fringe, but still came to, you know, come and support. And he just said that was an absolutely incredible. Him and his wife came and said it was an absolutely incredible show, and they absolutely loved it. And I was sharing with him, so I was kind of on a low this morning. I said I wasn't going to let myself do this, but I did. I went down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
So I had my first reviewers last night, and stars are like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars are like the ratings here in Edinburgh. And who knows what means and what. 1 evidently is like, your show sucks, and 5 is like, don't miss it. This is incredible. And I got a 3-star rating. So I was a little bit, disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was like, oh man. And I went on and I watched their review. And if you've seen the picture today, those were their exact words.
Yeah.
If they do it as like a YouTube video, I guess I can post a video. They do it as like an 11-minute like YouTube video, and those were all the words that they said. I didn't make those up. That's what they said. So I was like, wow, like, you're raving about how much you love it, but then you give it a 3-star. And the first like 5 minutes of their review, they were really mad that it was late.
Honorable 5.
Or
2.
3 minutes, I guess, of the review. Well, they kept kind of going back to it. They kept saying, well, the show got off late, and then we had to run to another show. And so they were like saying how they basically rushed there from dinner and then the show got off late. So that wasn't cool. And then they had said the sound levels were too high, like all the things that we knew that completely wasn't our fault, out of our control. So I was like, well, I wonder if that impacted their 3-star review.
Yeah, of course it did.
Because their words were saying this is an outrageous show and it's like amazing and it shouldn't be missed and the songs are beautiful and I love the full circle moment. And so I'm like, okay, the only thing they said, 3 things. They said the show got off late, not my fault. The sound
On
was
the second
on
song.
the second song, she was completely drowned out. And then they said, and it's so important, as the quote that I pulled, they said it's so important that you hear the lyrics because they drive the narrative and they're necessary. So I was like, okay, not my fault. And then the third one, they said they didn't remember where it was, but there was a point where they thought there were like 2 or 3 songs that were close. They were too close to each other, and maybe you didn't need one song. But she was like, that's my personal preference, and that's just like my thing. So it's kind of a bummer because nobody really gives a crap about 3 stars. You know, when you have 4 and 5 stars, you can like plaster that all over your posters and your marketing because that's like, ooh, when you have 3 stars, people are like, meh. So I decided to pull the beautiful quotes they said about it and use that. But we won't be putting 3 stars. I mean, more reviewers might come and that's just, you know, kind of their personal review. But I like to be judged on my artistic merit, not. And they did also come on the very first night. And usually it's called a preview. Like last night, today, and tomorrow are previews. And most people know that, like, you don't expect everything to go. Yeah. Actually, Ian said that. Yeah. He was like, there weren't any performances. Like, there weren't any issues at all with this performance other than that. He's like, the thing got off smoothly and it was amazing. Yeah. But usually people know there might be some hiccups because it's the first time you're putting up a show with 5 freaking minutes to spare, you know, with a
new tech person that didn't run your show.
Yeah, like with the circumstances that we're under. So, you know, what is it doing?
We're joining.
And
the
computer's coming back on. Yeah. Oh my God. We're just gonna roll with it. But I will say that it bothered me more than I probably should have let it. Like, I did go down a little spiral where I was like asking you in the morning, like I was like, you know, do you think, no, don't invite guests.
No, I'm trying to see if I can get rid of us.
Yeah, remove from the stream. There we go. I was like, do you think that
fingers in the way,
you know, critics are not going to come now because it's only a 3-star, and do you think audiences aren't going to want to come, and like, do you think it's going to impact
the show?
And you said no.
No. Me?
Yeah.
I don't think so at all.
And then it was very interesting because as I went on Twitter, which I know I'm not supposed to do, but I saw this thing that said, so as we were talking about Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was just in the Indiana Jones movie and did Fleabag, it says, a reminder that 3 stars at ED Fringe can go on to be a BAFTA winning smash hit. And it's showing that Phoebe Waller-Bridge, when she did Fringe, that she got 3 stars.
Just a couple quick questions from Pamela.
Oh, okay. So she said, what? How do you keep your focus when all of that is going on? Yeah, that's a fantastic question, because I was saying that on the bus ride over. I was like, my anxiety today, I have like high functioning anxiety. I don't take any medication or anything. I manage it through mindfulness and fitness. Like you guys always see me posting about my workouts. That's not for body image. That's for my mental health.
Cold plunges.
Yeah, cold plunges. And so I have like high functioning anxiety, and, my anxiety was like rampant this morning, from the review to the bus to all the things. So honestly, so Jean-Louis Rodrigue has like a breath work. Basically you start by saying, I have time, which if you've been to Personal Story Power, you know that we do that together. I literally, while we were standing there, so I was doing my breath work and my visualizations on the bus ride over. And then when we got to the space, I literally started doing my voice warm-ups. Like I was really like, go, 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 mom, 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 mom. And I'm like, by the bathrooms. I ground myself in repetition. So I know that when I get into a show prep, it's my breath work, it's my body work, it's my voice work. So I literally, as soon as I started, mum, 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 ga, 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 I could just feel my anxiety like washing down, like over me, like away, like washing away and just like going out of me, like anchoring in the in the mindless repetition, like anchoring in the vocal warm up that I do every single day to keep my voice healthy, and to perform. So it's like, I don't want to say that it's a mindless activity, but I ground myself in the practices that I know I can focus on. So right then and there, I was just focusing on my voice. I was like, vocal warm up, like thinking about one thing. Like I was like, voice, boom, that's it. I'm not thinking about all the chaos that's happening around me. So that's basically what I did, and that's what got me. And then when I was behind the curtain, waiting in the wings, I was like, it's fucking showtime. Like, let's fucking go. Like, I got this. Like, I don't care about anything else right now. Like, I'm a performer and I know what I'm doing, and my heart and soul is in this, and this means so much to me. I'm gonna give them the best show of my life, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. That was the most connected I'd felt to the music and to the movements and to all of it. And it was like reminding myself of the work I've done and who I am. And that was it. So, you know, oh, Leona, you're so sweet. We have known each other for 16 years. My goodness. When I first moved up here to Canada, we met, right? So, so thank you. But, it's such a mastering of the mind. Like that is really what and just being thrown in scenarios that I don't believe performers should have to be thrown into, but that's the pay to play game here. Like I think a performer should have a dressing room. Like I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, the basic
I didn't know that we didn't have a dressing room. That
Yeah,
wasn't actually discussed with me. I had no idea that we didn't have a dressing room till I got there. I'm like standing next to the bathroom, and my audience and my fans, like the people are like coming in and out. I'm like, hi, in the bathroom. I was like, I need a spot just to go where like nobody could. So there's like this little like side alcove, like corner. And I was like, I need to go off into the corner, like where I'm not by anybody and nobody could see me. I think it was funny because when you asked to talk to the manager, all the employees were like giving us the stinky eye. And I was like, oh, we're like,
we're labeled as those people now.
But I was like, I don't care. It's not right. And I'm not going to stand for it. Like, so whatever, it's fine. But it's like, yeah, all this you have to deal with, like no dressing room, them running late, a 5-minute load in time, tech just being attitude-y or like making mistakes.
It's exactly like America's Got Talent.
What do you mean?
Any of them. Like you see them lining up down the road. Like that was us. We're like lined up down the road.
Yeah.
And then like you get into queue and like you're with everyone else. You're just in queue. And then it's like, okay, go down. You're going to get called into the room. It's the exact same thing.
Totally.
You get called into the room. It's like, okay, you got 3 seconds to set up.
I want to share the win though. Oh, you have the picture on your phone. I didn't have my phone. So this young,
that's true.
What were they? Japanese?
Yeah.
The experience to make you a better performer.
What's on my phone?
Yeah. I said the same thing.
No,
I was
I took a picture. No, was it my phone?
I think so. But I was like, man, if I can, I don't think you took it from my phone.
Oh, no, that is my phone.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're streaming on your phone right now. But I was like, if I can make it through like this stuff, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. If I can make it through this shit, because this is just shit. Like that's just shit. I'm sorry, but it's just shit.
And like the other thing
I hope
too,
it's gonna
like
get better.
Like the behind the scenes too. So just perspective. So we're trying to catch a bus because we're like a 15-minute bus ride out of the city, and that's like the average. But right now there's like, what do they say, 1 million people?
Oh yeah, the buses aren't running on time.
So there's 1 million people coming into the city. This city only has a population of, I think, 500,000, they said?
I don't know, yeah.
Or 400?
Not many.
Remember the Uber guy?
It's not like Toronto.
No, so basically he's saying you're tripling the population of this city overnight.
And they're not equipped to
They're not equipped. So like we get on the bus and it's like, this should be a 15-minute bus ride.
It's like
okay,
a 30-minute
cool.
Bus ride.
We're going to be 15 minutes early. Awesome.
Yeah.
But then we learned like yesterday and the day before, we're like, no, that's not true. The bus could be 5 minutes late. It could be running 10 minutes. traffic, all that thing. So like
Yeah.
that's the
Not
extra
control.
stress. Like that's her own fault, but
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, I can't. That's like sometimes I say to you, I'm like, don't make me make the decision. Like you'll be
Just
like,
do it.
what do you want to do? I'm like, I can't make the decision right now. This is not a decision that I can't spend any energy on this.
no.
Like I have to stay in performer mode. Like make the decision and tell me what we're doing and where we're going. Or sometimes I'll just say to you, we're gonna be all right, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, we're totally gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I just need to like ask you that. I was gonna say the win though. There were these two. I didn't even know. I was talking to someone. They were behind me. I didn't even know they were behind me, and I
Yeah.
almost left. They were waiting to talk to me. There were these two
Like
Asian. I think they were maybe Asian.
Yeah, I'd say Asian.
Chinese psychotherapy students. And they came up to me and said I needed to. She was so cute. She's like, my English isn't very good. Her English was fine. I was like, you're doing great. I was like, your English is fine. I totally understand you perfect. And she was like, your show is so powerful and so needed. And she was like, I can personally resonate to a lot of the things that you were talking about. We talk about these kinds of issues as psychotherapy students and the people that we help. And it's a lot bigger issue than people know about. She's like all the things with your mother and growing up in the family and the generational stuff and the emotional abuse and the eating disorders. And she's like, just all the things, suicide awareness. And she's like, all these things she's like, are so necessary. And she goes, it's all the things that nobody wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, you're too powerful. And I think she meant to say it's powerful, but I knew what she meant. And she was like, it's powerful and it's necessary. And she was like, I'm so glad. She goes, I saw the show and I knew I wanted to come. And she's like, I just wanted to say to you, it's so important that you're doing the show and thank you so much. Like we need it. My generation, I think she said my generation, my age group or my generation, I forget what she said, like needs it. They need to hear it and they need to see it. And that was everything to me tonight. That was everything to me.
Yep.
Like to know that I'm impacting the future, like the youth of our world.
Yeah,
the future.
Yesterday it was the tech operator.
Yeah. And I'm like really realizing that the show, it's interesting because I joke that the audience is dead inside. They're like 60, 70-year-old men and women.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, my show isn't for you. Like it could be.
Unless
but
grandkids
my
or
show is for like the 20, the college, the 20-somethings that are lost or that are dealing with things. Thank you. Yeah, it was just it meant everything to me. She said it like 5 times. She was like, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much for doing the show. And like I was like, wow. So I got this like 3-star review and I was like, oh, kicking myself. And then I get this message and I'm like, right. This is why I do this. This is why I do this. And then the playwright who, our friend who had done the Fringe like 10 times, he was like, oh, he's like, your show was way more than a 3-star review. He's like, those stars, he's like, don't even worry about it. He's like, like he was basically just saying he didn't think that was a fair rating, which fair enough. And then he just said, don't worry about it. It's not going to impact. He's like, your show's fantastic. He's like, it's not going to impact your run. So that's hard. It's hard when you, I remember Seth Rogen. Is he the funny guy who always smokes pot?
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen? Is that his name? You know who I'm talking about. He was in like Neighbors. I forget what like Rogen. He's like the funny guy. I remember one time he wrote an article and he said, I forget what movie it was, but like everyone was like, this is dog shit and this is the worst thing we've ever seen and this is horrible. And he was like, we do take it personally. Like he was like, sometimes I wish that critics and audience even or people realize that like the feedback does actually hurt, or the feedback, we do actually care. Like we do actually feel something. Like he's like, you work so hard for years or months or however long, to put something up and put something out, and then to have somebody just go, oh, 3 stars, or oh, that was shit, or oh, that was whatever. I'm not saying everybody has to love you all the time, and people are completely entitled to their opinions. And if you asked me to rate some movies that you love, I would be like, they're horrible, and you love them. Mm-hmm. You were watching that movie on the plane, some horror exorcist thing, and I was like, what in the world? I'd give that a 1 star if I watched it. You'd probably give it a 5. So I get it, right? I get it. It's somebody's opinion, but it's just hard sometimes not to take it personal because you pour your heart and soul into something and you really want it to do well, and then when it, you don't get what you want, um, and you wonder how much it was based on things out of our control. That's a rabbit hole that I was like, I need to stop. I went down that rabbit hole for a few hours this morning, and then I was like, I need to stop. This isn't productive. This isn't helpful. This isn't a good use of my time and energy, and I just need to move on. And then it was just so beautiful that we had those ladies there tonight, because I was like, yep, thank you. Thank you for reminding me why I do this and why this is so important. And that's it. So I think that was it for today. Low power mode. All the devices are dying.
It's a sign. You need to go to
We
sleep.
went after the show to this amazing pizza place, and they had like gluten-free, which was great for me. And it was the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, so it was
my
best
God, it was
pizza
the
you
best
ever had.
pepperoni pizza he ever had. Mine was like burrata. I'm trying not to do dairy because dairy's not good for your voice. But I was like, after that shit show today, I was like,
I'm doing the pizza I want.
Pizza sounds perfect. So I was like, let's do it. So it was just, so tomorrow we have the show. I think I have 12 people coming tomorrow.
Awesome.
13 people coming tomorrow. So we're gonna, love on those 13 people and, keep rocking and rolling. And that's all we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Any other final thoughts? Thank you, Pam, for being here and staying to the end.
I'm tired.
I know, it's late for us. It's 12:16 at night here. So I got to shower. I got to get my butt to bed. And same time, 19:15, which is 7:15 tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see. Evidently, they're supposed to send an email out to all the companies tomorrow and stress the importance of being on time.
And courteousness to other shows.
They're lucky I'm not running the show, because when I'm joyful. Because you know what I would do? I would just pull the lights out if that were me. Yeah. I'd be like, and you're done. So they're lucky I'm not running the show, because, that's that. So we'll see. Oh, joyful, you're just jumping on the end. You'll have to jump by, and you'll have to share all our experiences. I got to get to your show, and we'll get a coffee and talk about all the crazy fringe things. I love you too. So thank you. We are going to rest up. And we'll be doing day 3 of the diary, or show 3 tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes. All right. We love you guys.
Good night.
Love you all. Bye.